7 mistakes that you're probably making as a ballet beginner and how to fix them. And number 7 is so good and so important, so make sure you stick around until the very end of the video. Number 1, the big one, the oh so big one, which is forcing your turnout. A lot of people, when they start ballet, they have this mindset that the more turned out, the better. So they open their feet really wide, but the turnout then is not coming from their hips. And that results in things like the knees not being over the toes and the ankles collapsing. Correct turnout and understanding how to find your natural turnout and how to sustain it is so important as a complete ballet beginner. If you're forcing your turnout from your knees and from your feet, then you're putting a lot of pressure on the joints that are not designed to handle it. And that is exactly when injuries happen. So what I tell all my ballet beginners to do is, and I've said it in previous videos, find your natural turnout, which means you're going to be standing in a parallel position with your feet together. You're going to lift your toes up, so you'll be standing on your heels, and you will try to rotate your feet out in one singular movement. Whatever position you end up in, that is your natural turnout, and that is exactly how you need to be working throughout the class. Maybe initially to you it's going to feel like, oh, I'm so turned in, especially if you've seen all the videos online, but trust me, this is the only safe way to start working and to start actually improving your turnout. And then don't forget that stretching and strengthening the muscles which support your turnout is a crucial thing that you have to do. So strengthening your glutes, your hips, and also your inner thighs is going to help tremendously. And if you combine that together with the stretching, that is when you're going to get the best results. Number 2 is collapsing posture. This is super common, and the reason that it happens is because I think when people first start, they put so much emphasis on the legs, and sometimes the upper body just starts doing things that it automatically wants to do because there's so much pressure on the legs. But correct placement in the upper body and you being able to move your legs completely separately from your upper body without collapsing or arching is the key when it comes to all the ballet movements. So what I want you to try to think about is that there is a string or something that is pulling you up from the top of your head, and at the same time your shoulders are pushing down into the ground, almost as if they were like melting into your pockets. That combination creates length for your spine, space across your chest, and freedom in your upper body. And trust me, a good upper body placement makes a huge difference when it comes to all the ballet movements, and it makes them instantly look more professional, and it makes it easier for you to move your legs around as well if you've created that strong, solid placement of your upper body. Number 3, crunching your toes. So this is a super common mistake, and I see almost all beginners make it. And I understand why it happens, because as someone that's never done ballet, how are you supposed to know how to point your foot correctly? So what ends up happening is that someone just goes like this, and they crunch their toes. But that is going to actually put pressure on the wrong parts of your foot and can even lead to the foot cramping. So what we need to actually think about is not just crunching our toes under, but almost like lengthening your toes away from you, then reaching that beautiful demi-point position in the air, and then as the very last thing, your toes are going to curl under. So it's not the toes first, it's lengthening first, demi-point position first, and then the toes. And the best way to practice that as a complete beginner is just by sitting on the floor and doing the motion sat on the floor, and then slowly getting up and trying to do the same thing with super slow tendus, no music, no pressure, just you in front of the mirror, making sure that you're doing it in the correct manner. Number 4, forgetting the arms. Again, very common thing. And it's because as beginners, we put so much emphasis and so much attention onto our legs and we forget about the arms. But ballet is not just about leg movements, it's also about the upper body movements, and it's about the artistry. And trust me when I say this, port de bras, aka your arm movements, are a huge part of that. When your arms don't move with intention, the whole picture looks incomplete. So here's how to fix it. And I would recommend you doing it without any leg work. So you just focus on the arms. So your full attention is on the arms. So first of all, you got to make sure that your arms are strong and they have some resistance in them. So for example, when it comes to your bicep area here, this is the part that has the resistance. And the resistance also majorly comes from the connection with your upper back. So if you do what we spoke about before, you know, you're thinking about your shoulders almost like melting into your pockets, that creates this correct resistance in the area. And then the rest of your arm, so your fingers and your wrists, this is the part that is relaxed. But this here, this is always moving with resistance because that is actually going to support you with your balances, with your jumps, with your turns, etc., etc. So finding that sweet spot, resist and freedom is the key to good port de bras. Number 5, rushing the movements. And this happens because, you know, we're very overwhelmed in the ballet environment. There's music, there's counts. You got to remember the combination. So obviously the body can kind of go into the shock mode and then we start rushing things rather than taking things slow. But you got to remember that in all the ballet movements, it's not just about the position that you start in and the end position, but it's also about the journey in between. So let's take a simple example, a tendu. You start the tendu, let's say in this case from 5th position. It's not just about the 5th, and it's not about you reaching out into the actual tendu position, but it's actually mainly about how you get to the tendu position. So you got to make sure that the correct foot articulation is there, that the correct rotation from the whole leg is there, that the upper body placement remains correct, that you're strong on your supporting leg, etc., etc. There are so many things that you need to do before you actually reach that full tendu position, and it's the same on the way back. So I want you to kind of change your mindset and try to start thinking about the movements, not just getting from point A to point B, but how you actually get from point A to point B. And that is also going to ensure that you're not rushing your movements and therefore probably doing them incorrectly, but you actually pay attention, full attention to the journey in between. Also, side note, if you're a ballet beginner, then I have a great video with 8 tips for starting ballet from scratch. So make sure to check it out. I'll leave the link here as well. Number 6, doing combinations mindlessly and not really understanding or recognizing the patterns in them. So this is something that I think happens to all ballet beginners, and I've heard from all of my students that in the beginning they really struggle remembering the combinations. So yes, this takes a little bit of time, but what I would advise you to do from the very beginning is try to find, like I said before, the patterns in the combinations. Most teachers, especially teachers who teach beginners, they do usually have a pattern in their combination. So, you know, whatever you do to the front, to the side, and to the back could technically all be the same. But what beginners do is that they observe and look at the combination as a whole, and then all of a sudden they start feeling very overwhelmed because maybe it was like a minute and 30 seconds of a combination, when in fact, what the teacher showed to all those 3 sides and then maybe repeating from the back to the front again was actually all the same. And the best way that you can improve your ballet memory game when it comes to the combinations is, again, if you're in a stress-free environment at home, not even in your own ballet class, you're at home, put up some YouTube videos. There are so many of them now. Look at beginner classes and try to memorize the combinations. You don't even need to do the combination full out. You can do the a very funny ballet thing, you know, when you do the combination with your hands, but just sitting and watching the combinations and trying to recognize those patterns, like I just said, that is going to be super, super helpful when it comes to your own ballet classes in the end. And number 7, this is a really important one. Forgetting about your supporting leg and focusing too much on the working leg. Once again, all beginners, and again, it makes sense, yeah? If this leg is doing something, the working leg, then for beginners, the focus goes onto that leg. When in fact, your supporting leg, if anything, is even more important than what your working leg is doing. Why? Because a good solid supporting leg and you placing your body weight there correctly, so you're not in the middle with your hips, all of your body weight is on your supporting leg, you've managed to engage your glute, you're pulling up from your quad, from the front of your hip, all of that is actually the thing that is going to give the freedom to the working leg to be able to move well. If your sole focus is on the working leg and your standing leg is just kind of there, then at the end of the day, when maybe you'll manage when things are easier, you'll definitely manage if you have the support of the bar. When we step away from the bar, that is when you're going to struggle. Of course, you're still going to be thinking about your working leg, but I want you to always remember that in fact, it is the supporting leg that gives the working leg the true freedom to do exactly what it needs to do and to do it well. So, did you recognize yourself in any of these mistakes? If you did, then don't worry, because we all start there. Awareness is the first step, and now that you're aware of these mistakes and you go into your next ballet class and you can think about these mistakes, your dancing will probably already feel different. If you are a complete ballet beginner and you feel like you're lacking that deep knowledge and those true foundations when it comes to your ballet, then I recommend you to check out my Ultimate Beginner's Ballet course. I've poured all of my knowledge into the course. It consists of 60 videos that you can do from the comfort of your own home at your own pace, because you get lifetime access. And everything that you need to know as a ballet beginner is in that course. So I really, really highly recommend it to all the beginners. And if you're already going to in-person classes, that's fine, that's good, I love that. But this is something that you could also do on the side to ensure that you lay those proper foundations for your ballet technique. If you enjoyed this video, guys, then don't forget to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel for more content like this, turn on the notification bell, and I'm looking forward to seeing you all again next time.